Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Ben Olson. That's Nathan Fox. We're the founders of LSATdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. We have an email here from L.
Hi, LSAT Demon team. I submitted all of my applications earlier in November with an improved LSAT score. You guys helped me increase my score by 8 points in 2 months. However, I am worried about the rest of my application materials. L says, I used Grammarly to help catch any grammar mistakes and to help me clarify for conciseness. I ran a couple of my essays through AI detectors on a whim after I applied and saw that there were some of them that had been labeled as AI generated. I'm really worried about LSAC and other schools questioning my academic integrity should they decide to do the same. And so I was wondering if withdrawing my applications, rewriting, and retaking would make sense in my situation. I have document histories to prove that I didn't use AI to write my statements, but I'm nervous that schools will grow suspicious and have my application chances hurt in the process. I'm curious to know your thoughts. Thanks for all your help. L.
No, I don't know how law schools will react if they decide to put your applications through those AI, detectors.
I can certainly see them doing that as a matter of course. Putting things through. I could see somebody deciding like, hey, we want to know whether people really wrote their shit. Let's put everything through an AI detector, especially if they're kind of naive about it. Like if they know just enough to be dangerous, I could see them going, oh, let's put all this shit through an AI detector. And the next thing you know, it's like people who used Grammarly get flagged. I could see it hurting your chances.
It's strange though, because I've written stuff and then I've put it into one of these detectors and it says, oh, 60% of this appears to be AI generated. So I'm like, okay, that's
just not true.
Wrong. So then I don't have faith in them. And so I don't know what faith law schools have in them.
You just got to remember that it's like, you know how the states are supposed to be these like laboratories of democracy. The law schools are these laboratories of admissions decisions. So you've got people like at every school, they're just making different choices about how they're going to evaluate the applications. So I could certainly see this being the case at some schools, that somebody who doesn't know what they're doing is going to use an AI detector and just be like, deny everybody who gets flagged by an AI detector. But the fact that they're doing something stupid in their admissions process, I don't know that that should really affect L. Presumably L's applying broadly, and not every school is going to do something that stupid.
Well, I wonder if it would even work, though. Would it work? Because like if you do that and you put all these
it flags
essays,
everybody.
Yeah, it's going to flag everybody to some degree. And then, okay. What does that mean?
Very likely.
And
I have bigger concerns.
Yeah. What are your bigger concerns?
Well, the document history, L, is not going to become relevant. Okay, they're just going to deny you or waitlist you. If they care, they're just going to deny you or waitlist you, and you're not going to be able to appeal. Why. No, they're not going to tell you, oh, it's because you got flagged by the AI detector. They're just going to deny you. And so you're not going to ever be like appealing this, or you're just going to not get in this year if that's the case. So I don't think that really matters. What does matter though is your LSAT and the content of what you wrote, and you improved by 8 points in 2 months. I wonder how much you would have improved in 3 or 4 or 6 months. Like an 8-point improvement these days? Really?
I mean, it depends on where they're starting from.
Sure.
Right? If they came from some other program and they went from a 168.
Frequently people do come from other programs though, and still improve by 18 points, not 8 points.
Yeah.
So I just don't want people to think like, well, Princeton Review has this whole guarantee program where
5 points.
You get, guarantee a 5 or 7 point improvement, and I improved 8 points. So I'm ready to apply. Nah, not really. Not when we hear of people saying that they improved by 30 or 35 points. Like I don't know, what was your highest LSAT on record is my question. If your highest LSAT on record was less than a 170, then I would go, well, I mean, could you have done better potentially? And maybe you applied too hastily with what could have been a better LSAT. That's a much bigger factor than what L is worried about. Second thing I'm worried about, Grammarly kind of sucks.
It does.
It sucks. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
it sucks. Like, as much as I tell people you should probably put your shit through Grammarly and see what Grammarly says about your writing, Grammarly gives me bad recommendations all the damn time.
Yeah.
It just does stupid things to my writing.
Yeah.
And, maybe sometimes I'm wrong. Maybe sometimes my taste differs from Grammarly. Maybe sometimes Grammarly is technically correct. But there are also times where Grammarly is technically wrong. It's just like, what? Why are you recommending I do that?
No, well, a lot of times too, it will be more concise, which I love making things more concise, but the tone is lost. Something is lost, and I
Yeah.
notice it, and I go, "Oh, yeah, that is more concise, and generally that's better, but I can see how this is actually going to go flat and be wrong."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't like it's not reading it out loud,
Mhm.
right? Grammarly doesn't seem to be thinking about the flow of one sentence to
No,
the
it's
next
just
sentence to the
rules.
next sentence. It's just
Yeah.
like one sentence at a time.
Yeah.
And so it can come off super, as you say, flat and just one note and just like it's not beautiful writing. It's not expressing itself in a nice way. So it might help you to catch errors, but it might introduce other errors or it might just ruin your whole style. And so that's what makes me the most worried about what Elle said here, putting the LSAT stuff aside. It's like, how seriously did you take Grammarly's suggestions?
No, a lot of
Maybe
people just accept them, right? They're not
right.
confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're just taking all of Grammarly's suggestions, then I almost guarantee that I'm going to read it and go, yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
So that's, I don't think it's really an issue of academic integrity. I think that anybody who has any savvy at all is going to realize that people are using these tools to help themselves be better writers. And you should. So you should be using these tools to help you clean your shit up. But that doesn't mean that you have to just like accept
Follow
everything
them.
that it
Yeah,
suggests.
yeah.
You should take it under advisement.
It's
Thank
like a
you, Grammarly.
court gesture.
Ignore.
Yeah.
Thank you for that advice. Ignore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not necessarily the jester. It's one of the people that's on your council is Grammarly,
Yeah.
and you're like, I appreciate you, Grammarly. Thank you for showing up every day. Thank you for always flagging all of these things. But I
Yeah.
am going to ignore 3/4 of the shit you tell me because
Yeah.
you're not you're not a writer.
You don't see
You're
the
an
big
AI
picture.
robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything more for Elle?
No.
I don't think that this is a withdraw. Like, you're not going to get like flagged for academic integrity. That's never happening. I mean, if you wholesale actually did generate your personal statement with
Mhm.
AI, I could see that causing a problem. But otherwise, the worst
Even
case is
then,
you get denied.
you have to
So
prove it. Good luck. I mean, that seems challenging.
yeah, right. Yeah. And Elle didn't do it. Elle has the document history anyway. Yeah. I don't think that this is a withdraw, rewrite, reapply necessarily, but
Mhm.
the big thing here again is like, did you really apply with the best LSAT you could have applied with? Because that's the wrecking ball. And if you could have done better, which you suggest, I mean, L mentions retaking.
Mhm.
If I ever hear somebody mentioning retaking, it's kind of like, oh, so that you could have done better.
Yeah.
You applied with less than your best LSAT. Okay, well then in that case, yes, withdraw and reapply.
Excellent. Email daily at lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.